normally sewing shouldn't be done on Chol Hamoed. But for instance, there's also a difference if it's done professionally or it's done what's called Maisa Hedyet, unprofessionally. If it's done unprofessionally, it's much more lenient to be able to do it than if you do what's called Maisa Uman, which is called the work of an expert. So he says like this, think that if you don't do it now, you're going to end up losing money because of it, so that you're allowed to do even through a Jew and even for payment. It's something, if you don't do it, won't cause any loss of money whatsoever, so then you shouldn't be doing it Chol Hamoed.
Doesn't that mean that you really, realistically didn't do any work that you're going to make money?
Yeah, but I'm saying, let's say somebody needs stuff to be repaired in the house, right? So sometimes people are pressed for time. The house has to go on the market, and they're paying a mortgage and a rental. I mean, whatever it could be. So then every day that work is not being done is going to be a loss of money. But Stama is something that you need to fix. You should wait until after Chol Hamoed to fix it. You don't have to fix it now. Yeah, you would like to have it fixed now, but you can wait until after Chol Hamoed. That's what it means. So people technically would be allowed to go to work on Chol Hamoed. If by not going to work, they're going to have to pay the workers anyway. Plus, there'll be a loss of money. So then you would be allowed to go to work on Chol Hamoed. But generally, people should try to avoid as much as possible, things that going to work and things like that. Now, even things which are what's called David Ovid, things that if you don't do it now, you're going to lose money. That's only if you couldn't have done it before Yom Tov, before Chol Hamoed. You can't leave something which would be a loss of money. Say, you know what, I can't do it before Yom Tov. I'm going to wait until Chol Hamoed. In fact, an interesting thing. The Mishnah says, Chol Hamoed, you're not allowed to take haircuts. You're not allowed to take a haircut during Chol Hamoed. Why? Says Chazal say, the Gemara says very simply, people before Yom Tov are busy. Chol Hamoed, they have time. A lot of people didn't work Chol Hamoed. So the person will say to himself, why do I have to go crazy, take a haircut? Before Yom Tov, I'll take it Chol Hamoed, I'll have more time. So what happens? The Gemara says you're going to go into Yom Tov looking wild with long hair.
Glorious.
No, the Gemara calls it, you're going to look despicable with long hair. So then, the Chachamim said, therefore, you're not allowed to take a haircut during Chol Hamoed because we want you to take the haircut before Chol Hamoed. Therefore, this is an interesting practical case also. There's certain times when people couldn't take a haircut before Chol Hamoed, then you would be allowed to take it during Chol Hamoed. What is the case? The Mishnah says, a guy comes out of jail during Chol Hamoed. So then he would be allowed to take a haircut because he couldn't take a haircut. He was in jail. He couldn't take a haircut. Or, not in the olden days. Today's country clubs. We're talking about jails. No, but I'll tell you where you have a very practical case of this, by the way. If a kid's upsharinish. If a kid is born before Sukkot, then you cannot make an upsharinish during Chol Hamoed because you could have cut the hair before. But if a kid's birthday is the middle of Chol Hamoed Sukkot, or his birthday is the first or second day of Yom Tov, so according to the laws of upsharinish, you can't take a haircut before your birthday. So you couldn't take a haircut before Yom Tov. So then you would be allowed to do an upsharinish Chol Hamoed Sukkot. Chol Hamoed Pesach you can't because of Sfira. So you have another problem with Sfira, so you don't take haircuts. But Chol Hamoed Sukkot, if a kid's birthday, his third birthday, turns out to be Yom Sukkot, then you can make upsharinish during Chol Hamoed. But if his birthday was out of Yom Tov even, then you can't because you could have done it before Yom Tov. Huh?
You don't push it off?
You're not supposed to push off upsharinish. I mean, in certain cases you could push off a day or two, but okay.
How about cutting your nails? You're not supposed to cut your toenails and your hands at the same day.
But Erev Yom Tov, you good.
That's okay. It's okay to be dead then that day.
No, I'll tell you, cutting nails, yeah? It says in Shulchan Aruch, if you cut your nails before Sukkot, and then they grew, you're allowed to cut them Chol Hamoed. If you didn't cut them before Yom Tov,
How long before Yom Tov?
we're talking about a day or two. Before Yom Tov can mean a month too. No. We talk about a day or two right before Yom Tov. Yeah, a day or two before Yom Tov. So then the din is, huh? I understand. If somebody did it out of Yom Tov, and then the nails are growing that they want to cut it again before the last days, let's say, so then you would be allowed to cut the nails. If you didn't cut your nails before Yom Tov, then the din is Shchunar says clearly you're not allowed to cut them during Chol Hamoed.
But if you cut your hands, you can't cut your toes.
One second. The inyan of not cutting on the same day, it's brought down. Some people, Dr. Rebbe, say yesh and he doesn't say it's forbidden. Some people have a minig that they don't cut their fingernails and toenails on the same day. It's brought down in halacha. There's a Kabbalistic thing of not cutting fingernails and toenails the same day. But you have the same thing though. It says many people don't cut the hair on Thursday because it starts growing on the third day. No, I'm saying not hair. Nails. Some people have a minig. It says in Shchunar they don't cut fingernails or toenails on Thursday because the nails start growing on the third day. Okay, even though doctors will tell you it starts growing right away, but there's a spurt of growing of nails on the third day, not before. There's a Taz, by the way, that says you can't take a haircut on Thursday either because hair also grows on the third day. And that Alter Rebbe in Shchunar asks at Tzarchi in Gadol. He doesn't understand it because the Mishnah says the king took a haircut every day. If the king took a haircut every day and it only starts growing on the third day, so how could a king take a haircut every day? He should take one every third day. Okay, anyway, so that Rebbe, but L'moshe, what happened before Yom Tov? Let's say, last year, it was Thursday, Friday, Shabbos. So Wednesday, you're allowed to cut your nails. Eye is going to start growing on Friday. It does, certain times it doesn't matter. So certain times a person should try, let's say even if they're makbid, not to cut fingernails and toenails the same day. So they should cut one of them 2 days before Yom Tov and the other one the day before Yom Tov.
Oh, can you do it Mincha time and then Meir, after Meir? If it's 2 days.
Yeah, you could do it before Mincha and after.
It's kind of cheating us.
Yeah, but it's illegal cheating.
Excuse me, you have a birthday, right? You're a year older a day later, so what?
But the point was somebody only cut their hands, they shouldn't really cut their toes.
Then they cannot, correct.
But they can cut their hands again.
They can cut the fingernails. Not you don't cut your hand. You cut your fingernails, but you can't cut your toenails,
Unless you have a
correct.
problem with the nail, right? If a person has a problem with the nail, then
Or if a lady has to go to mikvah, with things like that, then she can cut her mikvah. No, it's a delicate. Lixi said tziponayim, to cut nails, is also forbidden. But if you cut them Erev Yom Tiv, then you can cut them Chol Hamoed. Because then it's not, again, it's the same thing. We don't want you going with long nails, but here you did cut your nails. So then you can cut them Chol Hamoed. Even what you're allowed to do the Chol Hamoed, certain jobs, you shouldn't do it for a guy. You can only do it for a Jew. First, there's a din, even by Yom Tov itself, we were discussing this the other day, you're not allowed to cook on Yom Tov for a guy. You can only cook for a Jew on Yom Tov. Torah says, Hu levada yosel lachem, you can do it for yourselves. So Gemara learns you can't do it for animals, and not calling them, God forbid, the same thing, and or for non-Jewish people. Because Torah says you can only cook for lachem, for a Jew. So therefore, Shchunar says you can't invite a guy to a Yom Tov meal. If you didn't invite him and he shows up, then you can feed him.
Shabbos is different. Right?
Shabbos is different. Shabbos you could invite a guy because Shabbos you don't cook. So inviting a guy, we're afraid you're going to cook for them extra, which you're not allowed to. Shabbos you can't cook anyway, so you're not going to invite the guy. That's why there's a whole thing. People mix this up with Pesach, with the Seder. They say you can't have a guy at the Seder. There's nothing to do with the Seder. That's a din in Yom Tov. First, if your Seder is Friday night, then you could invite a guy to the Seder.
What's the reason that you would be able to not invite even the first night, where you most likely cooked already during the week, weekday?
Shulnar says, even though you already cooked everything, nevertheless, because you might cook extra for them, so you're not allowed. This is Shulnar. Because you might cook even the first night, you might do things that you have more people that you're doing. But if he didn't invite him, so you're not planning to cook extra, and he shows up, then you could do it. Then you could invite, you could feed them. Okay, but for instance, on Chol Hamoed, you're not allowed to plant flowers. You can't plant a garden. If you have flowers, you have a garden, you have a lawn, so then you're allowed to water it, because if not, it's going to get ruined. So that you're going to hold back from somebody losing money. But otherwise, to plant gardens and things like that, I had an interesting question today. A girl calls me. She's in a seminary. I don't know where the seminary is. There's a girl leaving. There's a girl leaving seminary to go back to Russia. So she said, "Are we allowed to go see her off at the airport on Chol Hamoed?"
To do what?
To see her off at the airport.
Okay, it's getting better.
friend.
I continue with this question.
So I said, well, like, because they were told you can't be sad on Yom Tov. Can't cry on Yom Tov. So if they're seeing off the good friend, the girls are going to be crying. So I never got that question before. It's an interesting question. So the question is, can we go to the? I said you can go to the airport. It's fine. Even if they're going to cry, they can go to the airport.
Can you go fishing, Rabbi?
Only if you need the fish for Yom Tov.
So, but just like as a sport, you shouldn't go.
You want to catch a big fish for
You shouldn't go because of the tilas and nefesh? Is that
No. Well, stamp the fish for what
no,
purpose?
let's say a person is fishing like.
So if they're going to use the fish for Yom Tov, then for sure you could do it.
No, during Chol Hamoed, yeah.
Yeah, I'm saying.
Nothing to do with the tilas nefesh.
No. That you're allowed to. You can kill a bug on Yom Tov. I mean, not on Yom Tov. On Chol Hamoed and things like that. It's not a problem. Okay, so you can't. Okay, you can't take a haircut. We said cutting nails. Now, you can't do laundry during Chol Hamoed. The only time you're allowed to do Chol Hamoed doing laundry on Chol Hamoed, if things got dirty on Chol Hamoed, and you need them for either Chol Hamoed or you need it for the last day. So let's say somebody has a tablecloth and they used it on Yom Tov and it got dirty, so they need to wash it before Yom Tov. So then you're allowed to wash it, or somebody ran out of shirts.
I can't dry clean my shirts.
No, I'm saying, so what happens if somebody runs? But the thing is that you're only allowed to dry clean or wash your laundry, whatever, only what you must have for Yom Tov. You can't do extra. You can't say, okay, I'm making a load already, so I'll put in a bunch of other stuff. You can't do that. Even today with the washing machines, you can't. You can only wash what you must have for the rest of Yom Tov. Okay.